my channel. So it has been a minute since my last craft video and I really missed making them, so here I am. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys the very basics of heat embossing. Wait. What is heat embossing? Well, I would be happy to tell you guys about it. Heat embossing, also called wet embossing, but that name makes me low-key uncomfortable, so we're just gonna ignore that. In simple terms, it is a decorative technique that involves using heat to create a raised 3D effect on paper. It is a beautiful way to add flair to any card, stationery, or any other art piece. And guys, the cool part is it looks super complicated, but it's actually really simple and the results are always stunning. Every time I do it, I'm like, wait, I made that? Me? Stop! Yes, honey, I did that and you guys can too. Before I get into the video, I'm gonna take a quick second to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button and like button. It is greatly appreciated and it lets me know that you guys like these kinds of videos. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna stop talking now. Let's get into the video. Hey guys, it's voiceover Noelle here, and the materials you'll need for this project are paper or cardstock, embossing inks. Here I have embossing pens and an ink pad, embossing powders, regular rubber stamps, Q-tips for easy cleanup, and finally a heat gun or a heat tool. Some people use blow dryers, but they usually don't get hot enough for embossing. Before you start working, you want to take a regular piece of computer paper, fold it in half, and work on top of this. I'll show you guys why later. It will save you a big mess. First, I'll show you guys how to use the ink pad and the rubber stamp. This brand is from Versamark Dazzle, and it's not really ink, it's actually adhesive, and this is what makes the powder stick to the image. I got this stamp for $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. It's the cutest little cow. You guys know how much I love cows. UC Davis Aggies, let's go. And you're just going to use it like a regular stamp. Make sure you really coat the entirety of your image because this is what's going to transfer on the paper. Once it's coated, gently press your stamp onto a piece of paper. Make sure you apply even pressure, and voila, there is your cute little cow. I'm going to be using white embossing powder. I got this for $5.99 at Hobby Lobby. I'll link everything in the description below. And all you're going to do is liberally pour the powder all over your image. Don't be shy, make it rain, girl, and don't worry about wasting the powder. I'll show you how to deal with that after. I also like to shake the powder around to make sure the image is fully coated. And this is where the folded paper underneath comes in handy. You're just going to pour the powder directly onto the paper, and boom, your beautifully stamped image has revealed itself. Gently flick the back of your paper to get rid of any excess powder. And you can use Q-tips to help clean up the fine details. There are also little baby Q-tips you can use for like the super small details, but I didn't have those on hand. Be careful if you blow off the excess powder when there's still a mound of the embossing powder around, because this is what ends up happening. For a super easy, mess-free cleanup, simply fold your paper and use it as a funnel to pour the excess powder back into its container. Hope you guys liked that ASMR. It was pretty satisfying. Okay, now for the fun part, the actual embossing. I got this heat tool from a store called Paper Source. It was around $25. Actually, Reuven got me this, so shout out to you, Reuven. Thank you so much. Plug in your heat tool and allow it to heat up for a few seconds. I usually check that it's hot enough by waving my hand in front of it, but you want to be extremely careful when you're doing this because it gets very hot. Hold it about 2 to 3 inches above the surface of the paper. Start in one area of your image and work your way to the next. You'll know an area is finished when you see the powder melt and become shiny. It is so satisfying. Make sure you're constantly moving the tool around because you don't want to burn the paper and you don't want the powder to overheat or else it'll become bubbly. Allow the image to cool for a few seconds and then you're done. You're left with a gorgeous stamped image and an effect people will literally ask how you did it. Now I'm going to show you guys how to use embossing pens. It's basically the same idea, except you can draw whatever you want instead of using a stamped image. This set of 3 pens is from the brand Moxie. I got it from Paper Source as well for $6.95. It comes with a broad tip, a medium tip, and a brush tip. And this is the part where you let your imagination run wild. There are really no limits here. You could do literally anything you want. Here I'm writing how to heat emboss, and I'm using all the pens part of this set to show you guys what each one looks like and to show you the difference between the three. So if you notice, the ink pad actually had clear ink and these pens have pink ink. I don't think it really makes a difference. It's just something I found interesting. I think I do prefer the pink ink though, because it allows me to see what exactly I'm writing and what the image is going to look like once the powder is on top of it. For this one, we're going to be using gold tinsel embossing powder. Guys, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, it looks like literal fairy dust. Unlike the solid white powder, this one actually ends up being sparkly. There are tons of powders you can choose from. Once again, make it rain, pour that baby on there. This is probably my favorite part of the entire process just because it's so satisfying and fun to pour powder all over the place. Don't forget to give it a little shaky shake and then pour the excess off. I actually think pouring the excess is my favorite part. It just, you know what? No, all of it's my favorite part. I love embossing in general. I guess I didn't shaky shake enough because there was a part on the E that was uncovered, but it's an easy fix. You just pour more powder on it, shake it up, and then, you know, same process, same idea. This is what it looks like before heating it up. To be honest, I am in love with this deep gold color. One thing to keep in mind about embossing is that sometimes the heating process changes the color of your powder, which is fine. It's always gorgeous to me afterwards too. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. I've also noticed that there is a more drastic change for the gold embossing powder than there was for the white one. You could definitely tell that something's changing for the gold powder. I don't know if you guys could really see what was happening with the white one. I think it may have something to do with the fact that it's a sparkly one, so it shines a little bit more. And here is the finished product for the gold embossing powder. It's so stunning. I use the gold one a lot for accents, which I will show you right now. Here I'm making a simple watercolor card and I'm going to be adding a touch, like a literal touch of gold embossing powder, and it completely transforms the card and takes it to the next level. This is the final card, and one last thing to note, it really matters what paper you use. I would recommend sticking to thicker paper or cardstock. That way you can prevent warping, which happened to this card. Tell me that wasn't the most satisfying thing you've ever seen. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. As always, if you guys have any questions about what you saw in this video, the materials I use, anything like that, just go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll get back to you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.